After a finals run where Kyrie Irving had a subpar performance, what better way to bounce back other than scoring the ball at a highly efficient clip with pure elegance? When you look at the game of basketball, it's truly an art, and for Kyrie, it's an art that he has simply mastered. The way he uses his body to manipulate angles on the floor is a wicked form of wizardry. His supreme confidence and focus to pull up and nail it over anyone from deep is a testament to his long-distance relationship skills. And when times get tough, Irving approaches the game like a girlfriend who's hungry because he's for sure gonna find a way to eat. Through 14 games played, Irving has poured in 24 points and 5 assists while maintaining a true shooting percentage of 66% with shooting splits of 54% from the field and 53% from deep. Those numbers alone should show you just how well Irving is putting defenses on a plate when they walk into his restaurant, but if the numbers don't do enough justice, then how about we go ahead and walk back to the kitchen and see the exact process of how Kyrie Irving cooks his defenders. When you open up the menu, you can honestly get whatever you want, but the chef special is the 5-star driving filet. Me, you, and everyone knows that Irving is one of the best finishers on the planet, and when you slow things down, you can truly see how special he is. Standing at 6'2", 195 pounds, Kyrie isn't the biggest guy on the floor, so he must be crafty in the way he gets to the basket. You can see right here he's matched up against Randall off the switch, so with Irving at a disadvantage in size, he angles his jump into the defender's space so they can't really contest, and now Irving can use the defender's body to launch off and place this off the glass. This directional launch catches defenders off guard a lot of the time as they're not used to a player using his body in this way, which can end up granting Irving opportunities to go get to at the line. As a smaller player, you have to abuse these angles to give yourself the best chance at scoring, and if you look closely right here, it may not be the same launch into the defender's space near the basket, but with Irving getting low and getting into Turner's hip on this drive, it puts Miles in a position where he can't recover that well due to a possible foul being called, and with no rim protection down low, this one is way too easy. It'll be times where it seems like there's no angles to attack when your defender is tied up in your space, but this here is where you can simplify the game and stay calm. As we all can see, Melton is giving Kyrie no breathing room, but what this does is make it extremely hard to recover if the offensive player decides to attack that top foot. Since Irving needs space to attack, he serves his jab step, which makes Melton swing his hips hard to counter the drop towards the middle, but joke's on you, Kyrie's going back the other way for the bucket. Again right here, the angle to attack is right to the middle of the paint from this left side. Now knowing that the help defender is sitting there waiting on him, Kyrie proceeds to attack, and upon being closed in on, he decides to use this step through or euro if you want to call it that, and instead of fading back away from the defense, he instead goes right into the chest of Moody, and boy oh boy was this tough. On 10 draws per game this year, Kyrie is converting 58% of his 6 field goal attempts when attacking, and he's only averaging 1 free throw attempts off these as well. So regardless if you think he's getting fouled or not when he drives, Kyrie still focuses on finishing all the way through no matter if there's contact present, and that's what makes him such an elite finisher. It's never really about the person in front of him, as he can blow past them with ease, as it's really all about who meets him at the rim, and at that point, Kyrie can assess the situation and use the right tools. I mean, you tell me, how many small guards do we see taking it right at the bigs to then double clutch to avoid the block and bank this home? And then let's say he wants to get extra difficult with the finish, we can get into his initial defender's body to shield them off like we talked about earlier, and then once launching off, Kyrie decides to use his left hand high over the top of the shot blocker like Isaac for the bucket. That type of versatility is exactly what you want in a guard you look for to score, as it makes it difficult to predict what's coming next, and this gives Kyrie an advantage on defenders that most guards simply don't have. Take a look at this play for an example. Kyrie decides to reject the screen and attack down the right side of the floor due to the left side being pretty clogged. Now as we roll the film, you're going to see the help rotating over, and at this point, it looks like the space is closed off for Irving to get an easy look. But this right here is why it's key to have many things in your bag, because just when you think you've stopped him as a defender, you now have to think twice. This unpredictability is truly the engine to his game, as it helps him greatly when attacking, but it also makes him one of the best shot creators to ever touch the hardwood. Sometimes all you need to do is slow the game down, scan the floor, and then play tap dance with your defender to nail the 15-footer. Other times you may start to put the defender on their heels due to the attacking threat, but here's where that step back becomes a lethal weapon, as you can now see all the space this provides for a jumper. And trust me, sometimes it's just pure talent, and you see smothering shots like this go up and it's straight cash. Now when you look at his mid-range game closely, you'll see that everything is built off this one foundational skill, and that is patience. You can watch any possession you want, and you'll see that Kyrie is able to navigate traffic very easily, and he stays calm while doing so. He uses that smooth handle to carve through the defense in tight spaces, and whether it's a hezzy, cross, or a signature cross combo into a step back, Kyrie can do all this while staying controlled and patient when it comes to delivering. As he receives this high screen from Gafford here, you're going to notice that Kyrie is in no rush whatsoever when coming off, and that's due to him wanting to keep Conley on his hip. So once he gets to his spot and pulls up, Mike is in a tough position to contest, and now it's an and one. The pick and roll is probably one of Irving's favorite ways to create looks, as he's mastered the art of snaking off the screen, which is a move where you cut back directions to keep the defender on your tail, and this not only puts Keontae George in a bad spot, but it makes the big have to decide to step up or play the drive, and when you're dealing with a player like Kyrie, you can't afford to pick the wrong choice. Not only will he snake off these screens to get good looks, but Irving will also come right off, initiate a drive to get the defender's momentum going downhill, and then abruptly stop and pop right over them. With all his ways of operating in this range, Kyrie practically needs no play call or anything, as he'll create these masterpieces from scratch, and before you know it, he's adding the finishing touches. For the defense, they can do whatever they want, and honestly, they can think they have him right where they want him, but he'll then use that amazing footwork to spin or pivot out the situation for 2 points. These tight situations are where Kyrie's creativity shines the most, as when the play breaks down and would usually end up in a terrible shot for the offense, when you have a player like Kyrie, even shots like this are good looks. Yeah, crazy, right? I know. But what's even crazier is how Kyrie not only will use the handle to get to his spots on the floor, as he'll also use that physicality. I know he doesn't look very physically imposing, but trust and believe that Kyrie understands how to leverage his strength against his opponents. When you drive into the lane, he uses that off-arm and core strength to create space and stay on balance, so once he has the gap needed, the shot is pure butter. This key skill alone will catch any defender off guard, as they're not expecting such a smaller guy to initiate the contact and continue to nail the shot. With many options to choose from, you can easily see why the in-between game is still a valuable area, but in today's game, there's one thing you can't just throw away, and that's the 3-ball. One underrated aspect of Kyrie's game is his ability to operate off ball, and he does so very well when he's working to stretch the floor. With his elite spot-up shooting, defenses can't afford to lose track of him for even a second. On 2 catch-and-shoot threes per game this season, Kyrie is knocking these down at a 47% rate, which is absurd. Whether it's a corner 3 where he's spotting up, or if it's a 3 right off the catch in motion, Kyrie can be a great off-ball threat. This confidence from deep is what makes him such a difficult cover, as all it takes is an inch of space for him to let it fly, which gives defenders no room for error. Some might want to back up due to his ability to blow past them, but this just gives him a wide open 3, and then others might accidentally put their hands down, and that right there is a no-no. Pretty much, it's a no-win situation. If you sag off, well, it's a 3-pointer. Pressure up too much, well, he can drive right by you. And then if you get overzealous on the recovery when he attacks, well, here comes the nasty snatchback that leaves you watching the ball fall through the basket. Whether he's operating in the inside, mid-range, or lighting it up from deep, Kyrie's offensive game is a blend of skill, intelligence, and artistry.